This morning we're going to shine a little spotlight on shoulders and upper back. Couple things to know. I like to start out with you understanding your body. So there are three major bones that comprise your shoulder. It's your clavicle, collarbone. It's your humerus, arm bone, and your scapula, which is the shoulder blades in the back. And then there's a whole host of muscles, of course, involved, and there are 8 major muscles involved in your back and your shoulder blades. It's all connected. So, I mean, you may have heard of these muscles, you may not have heard of them before, but it's always nice if somebody says, well, your supraspinatus and your infraspinatus and your teres minor and your subscapularis, they all have to do with your shoulder blades. So you can even just forget that right now if you want. Okay, but basically tight shoulders, arms that we can't lift up and all that kind of stuff, we really need to be careful. If we feel any pain doing anything today, you stop immediately, don't do it. Rotator cuff injuries are common and they will accelerate with age, but truly, I like to spread things out, even a bottle of wine. I'm not going to drink the whole thing in one night. I've done it maybe once or twice, but you know what I mean? Spread out your activities and mix them up. And I get it, if you're a professional athlete, you will probably end up with repetitive stress injuries at some point, unfortunately. But you know what? They feel it's worth it. You're a ballerina. They end up with major hip issues, and football players, I mean, honestly, God bless them, but yeah, they always end up with injuries. But I don't think any of us are in that bracket, so it's just good to, it's like your diet. Make it as big a variety as possible. So in exercise also as well. Swimming, of course, great. But you know, cycling, for example, people who cycle, lift weights, or swim, this is all about this. You're holding your handlebars. Okay, so intuitively we would think, oh, well, this is all tight and irritated, I'm going to stretch it out. No, instinctively, that's what we would think. But what we need to do is open up and release those babies. They're overstretched. You know, also our devices. So, with those few words, we're going to get started. So let's come up to a standing posture to begin with. And we've done this exercise, some of you have done it many times, but repetition is the mother of getting it and remembering it. So what I want you to do is just kind of let your arms hang forward. And tech guy, this will be good for you, I'll tell you. Poor guy. Is that just let your shoulders hang. I mean, sometimes this is just the way we are. And then just lift your arm forward. I don't care, pick any arm, doesn't matter, any arm. All right? And then lower it down. And now let's lift our shoulders up, press them back, lift up your sternum, and pull your armpits down. Now lift that same arm as high as it goes. You notice the freedom in your arm when we have better posture? You got it, right? Did everybody see the difference? So let's choose the other arm now. Let's just sort of hang out again. We're not, being whatever. And let's just lift the other arm sideways. Just take it as far as it'll go. Some of us do have shoulder issues, so as I said, be very careful and lower that arm down. And then let's lift the shoulders up to the ears, exhale and roll them back and lift that arm again. And just see, is there a little more freedom or a lot? Okay, so the point of that whole exercise is the importance of our posture. Not just when we're lifting our arms, but over time, all of the muscles that are supporting, and some of the major muscles that we're going to work on. And you know what, we'll talk about it when we start working on them, because I don't want to overwhelm you with so many muscle names. So a couple things we can do is just actually shrugging your shoulders starts to work some of the muscles in the back. So I want you to bring your shoulders up to your ears, exhale, drop. Inhale, drop. Inhale, up, exhale, drop. Up, down, up, down, up, down, and up and down. Okay, now, the other thing you can do is you can pretend you're a supermodel, and you put your hands on your hips, and you put one leg forward, and this, you know, starts to stretch the front of your body. So I don't know, if you're standing in a bank lineup and somebody's checking you out, people are gonna stare, make it worth their while. Okay, so relax. Now the other thing is, if you were a banker and you had suspenders, well, we have bras, some of us. We got, yeah, okay, guys, I'm glad you're not wearing yours today. Yeah, so, you know, imagine, and this isn't just another thing you can do. Your upper back feels a little bit sore, or you know you've been hunched over your computer, you've been like this with your phone. Just grab. And then Groucho Marx, so if you grab your, you know, can you feel this? If you grab this and you push it, like you're actually pulling your suspenders forward if you were a banker. There are no bankers left with suspenders, are there? Oh dear. Okay. Now, interlocking your fingers, Groucho Marx, he may have walked forward like this. I'm not suggesting you do that at all. But I am suggesting that interlocking your fingers behind your back, and I will do this just out of the blue, hanging out, walking around. The other thing I might do is grab my elbows, but it just depends how much mobility you have. These are the little things you can do when you're not on your yoga mat and, you know, and thinking, oh, my achy, breaky back. And then, of course, I had these laid out because this opens up the front of your chest, because that's really what it's all about. It's counteracting what we've been doing. Okay, so that's great. Next up, we are going to perform our sun salutations and warm everything up. Coming up to the fronts of your mats, if you have socks on, now is a good time to remove them. And breathe deep. Inhaling, exhaling, hands in prayer. Step your feet apart. Arms up, reach up, look up, and arc back. Open up the front of your body. And then inhale, bring your feet back together. Lift up out of your waist. Exhale, reach forward as you fold. Please let the crown of your head hang and let your arms hang. So you're not holding on to your head here, let it go. Step your left leg back, drop the knee to the mat. Bring your shoulders over your hips. Bring your hands onto your front knee. Focus your gaze for balance. Lift that back knee off the floor and press through your heel. Inhale, sweep your arms up. Fingers are active and ready to move forward and towards the mat, coming into whatever your version of plank or push-up is best for you. Wrist or shoulder issues, your knees are on the floor and your ankles are crossed. Pull your bellies in, push your shoulders back, reach through the crown of your head. Feel your core engaging. So stretching, creating more mobility and strength in the shoulder area and upper back is what we're focusing on today, and undoing some of the damage that we do when our posture is less than great. Even driving a car, think about it. Shoulders should still be back, not hunched over in road. Adjust your car seat. Release your knees, flatten the tops of your feet so your toes are pointing backwards. Leave your hands where they are and slowly take your hips back towards your heels. So now this is a lovely stretch. Your modified child's pose here stretches some of the major muscles in the back, the latissimus dorsi, or also known as lats. They are in the middle to lower part of your back, and you can think of them like a corset. That's almost what they look like. And they're important for what we're doing right now for stretching, reaching the arms overhead, twisting, and then leaving your hands where they are. Release your forearms and elbows. Stay nice and low. Take your time to draw your upper body forward, to release your chest and your chin on the mat. Slide everything out behind you. Draw your fingertips back to align with the tops of your shoulders. Release your forehead onto the mat. Elbows into your side body. Press your forearms down towards the floor. On an inhale, roll the invisible alley with your nose and lift your head, neck, and shoulders. Now this is working your upper as well as your lower back muscles, but we are focusing on the upper to middle back. So again, your latissimus dorsi are getting a workout here. But you're also opening up the front of your bodies. So breathe, you're not using your hands here, you're using the muscles of your back. The erector spinae, they follow closely along your spine, parallel to your spine. This is strengthening them. They help with posture. The stronger the muscles are in the back, the easier it is to sit up straight. One more breath in, exhale, lengthen and lower. Curl your toes under. You can come up onto your knees first, or you can pop your hips up, then walk your feet a few inches forward, bend your knees, press your belly onto your thighs, align your ears with your inner arms, press your sits bones towards the back of your mat, and then press your heels towards the mat. Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Strengthening all the muscles in the back as well as your shoulders. But there's so much more going on. We're just focusing on shoulders and upper back today. And breathe. And then lift your right leg up in the air. Look at your right hand and swing that foot as far forward as you can. Other leg forward, and let your upper body hang. Truly let it hang. Uttanasana. Arms beside your ears. Engage your thighs. Pull your bellies in towards your lower spine, internal spine. Sweep the arms in front to come up. Feet apart for balance. Look up. Arc back. Opening up your chest. Inhale. Feet come back together. Lift out of your waist. Reach forward as you fold, let your heads hang, bend your knees, sweep the arms out to the side, reaching up, hands in prayer, exhale to your heart center. Second round, starting at the front of your mats. Inhale, exhale, feet apart, reach up, arc back. Inhale, feet towards one another, lift out of your waist, keep your thighs engaged as you reach forward. Let the crown of your head float down, your sits bones floating up, relax your neck, step your left leg back, drop the knee to the mat, bring your hands onto your front right thigh. Focus your gaze for balance. Lift the knee off the floor. Inhale, sweep the arms up. And breathe. Press through your back heel. This anchors your posture. Turn your hands forward, spread your fingers apart. Bring them onto your mat. Taking your version of plank, push-up position. If you're in the full plank, draw your heart center forward. Shoulders back. Press through your heel. Keep your neck aligned with your spine. Don't let your head hang or poke up. Align your neck and breathe. Developing upper body strength, core strength, pretty much overall strength. Release your knees. Flatten the tops of your feet. Take your hips back towards your heels. Lengthen your spine, stretch through the shoulders. The muscle on top of the shoulders called the deltoid, and it's responsible for lifting arms up and over your head. but so are your trapezius muscles. This is a superficial, large muscle. When somebody gives you a massage, they typically work on the traps a lot, especially towards the neck area. So it attaches to the spine and the neck. So the thoracic, neck, spine, again, it kind of fans out towards the shoulder area. Trapezius, or also known as traps. Leaving your hands where they are, release your forearms and elbows, and slowly, as you stay low, keeping your bum high, releasing chest and chin onto your mat. I know it's awkward, but it's worth it for maintaining the integrity and alignment of your spine. Slide everything out behind you. Draw your fingertips back to align with your shoulders, elbows into your side body, forearms beside your body towards the floor. Flatten the tops of your feet. You may wish to spread your feet a little wider and tip your baby toes, pressing them into the mat. Roll an invisible alley with your nose. On an inhale, everybody begin in baby cobra, and this may be as far as you go. Excellent posture for opening the front of the body, strengthening the muscles in the entire back. And then if you wish, press the floor away from you. Keep your elbows, wrists, and shoulders aligned, so shoulders down, shoulders away from your body. You may need to bend your elbows. If your shoulders are coming up, it's exactly what we don't want. We want our shoulders away from our ears, shoulder blades down the back. One more breath in. Exhale, lengthen as you lower. If you separated your feet, bring them closer together, curl your toes under, pressing up. Downward facing dog, walk your feet a few inches forward, bend your knees, press your belly onto your thighs, your chest towards your knees, align your ears with your inner arms. Be sure you're pressing all 10 fingers into the mat. Press your sits bones towards the back of the mat. This should lengthen your spine, stretch those muscles, and then press your heels down onto the mat. And breathe. And then lift your left leg up and look at your left hand. Swing that foot as far forward as you can. Other leg forward. Let your upper body hang. Arms beside your ears. Engage your thighs. Pull your bellies in. Sweep the arms in front, reaching up, feet apart for balance. Look up, arc back. Inhale, stretch up. Exhale, forward fold, let your heads hang, bend your knees, sweep the arms out to the side, reaching up. Exhale, hands in prayer, flat out and relaxing. Take a sip of water if you need. Turn your arms up. Now this is really important. I always tell you to do this. To place your hands up in the open and receiving position. This opens up the front of your upper chest, your collarbones, also known as your clavicles, anatomically speaking. And let your feet, legs, back, neck, let it all relax, let it all go. And just become aware of your breathing, belly rising, belly falling. Good deep inhaling and exhaling through your nostrils. warming, purifying, and moisturizing the air that enters into your lungs. Okay, bend your legs and place the soles of your feet flat on the floor. We're going to come into a bridge pose, which we've done many times, but again, useful for opening up the chest. So lift your heart center up and tuck your shoulder blades under. Tilt your chin towards the center of your chest. Your heels should be your feet lining up with your sits bones, so that your knees are lining up with your hip bones and your feet with your sits bones. Arms are beside your body with your palms facing down. Press the small of your back into the floor. Peel your spine off the floor. So notice how this starts to open up the front of your body. And if we bring our arms underneath our bodies, so interlocking your fingers, squeezing your shoulder blades together. The muscles between your shoulder blades are called the rhomboids. These muscles also become irritated, overstretched when we are not observing good posture, with the head tilted forward, the rounded shoulders. So how we look at our electronic devices, particularly our smartphones, really matters. I'm almost fearful for the younger generation who are growing up with these devices, and I doubt anyone's reminding them about posture. Pressing up, and then release your arms and slowly come all the way back down. Draw the knees into the chest for a moment and just do some gentle rocking from side to side. Now, the next posture I'm going to ask us to take is fish pose. And I can demonstrate for a moment. Most of you will know fish pose is where we lift our upper body off the floor, we tilt our heads back, and we rest the top of the head on the floor, but most of the weight is in the arms and the lower body. If you do not feel inclined to practice fish pose, then I suggest you go back to the bridge pose, what we just did. All right? So if you find yourself in fish pose and change your mind, come back to bridge pose. So once again, your arms are beside your body for fish pose. Palms are facing down. You're going to lift your upper body off the floor and come up onto your elbows. All right? So your elbows are nice and close to your body, and you're going to let the crown of your head float back and down. As I said, if this does not feel right for you, return to bridge. But if it is okay, this is a major posture along with camel pose, Ustrasana, opening up the front of the body, stretching and releasing some of the rotator cuff muscles that become irritated when we are not observing good posture, when we have repetitive stress syndrome. Racket sports are great, but sometimes the nerves can get tucked in between a bone, and the next thing you know, you're in screaming pain. So this is helping to reverse, open up the places that are under a lot of pressure, a lot of stress. Lift your head up and come on all the way back down. Now, turn your head to the left when you're laying down. There's another muscle in the neck and the upper back called teres minor. And that's what we're stretching when we turn the head to the side. Also, when we bring the ear to the shoulders, when we really stretch teres minor. And then roll your head to the other side. And back to the center. And then draw your knees up into your chest once again, rocking from side to side. Extend your left leg down in front, keeping your right leg bent. Place your left hand on the outside of your right knee and draw it across your body, extending your right arm out to the right side if that's comfortable. Now, typically we talk about how this stretches through the hips and the glutes, but this is also stretching these major big muscles, especially the lats, the latissimus dorsi. So as I said, all these back muscles originate on your spinal column, so on the vertebra. They're all attaching to your vertebra. The latissimus dorsi is a big, broad, flat muscle in the back of your body that spans from the middle to the lower back, helps us with twisting, so stretching, keeping the core of our bodies mobile as well as relaxed. As I said, this is the muscle, the latissimus dorsi. You can think of it like a corset, only in the back of the body. Inhale, come back to center, draw the right knee into the chest, draw the left knee up, send the right leg straight down in front, place your right hand on the outside of your left knee and draw it across your body and extend the left arm out to the left side. So keeping a little bit of pressure on the outside of the knee that's bent to enhance the release of tension in the lower to mid back. Every single posture we do has a healing, restorative effect on the body. As I said in my notes, the body is constantly degenerating and regenerating, and yoga is incredibly helpful for obviously regenerating. And come back to center. And we're coming back down onto our backs, except draw both knees up. Let's rock up to a seated position. We're going to do one strengthening posture for the latissimus dorsi, and it's called reverse plank. Shoulder issues, you're not doing it, okay? Pick something else that you like to do, anything at all. But in reverse plank, and I don't love this posture either, because it's difficult, but it strengthens what we just stretched, okay? So hands are flat on the floor. It's literally what it said. Your fingertips are gonna point forward. You're gonna lift yourself up. That's a reverse plank. Breathe. Remember, if you feel any pain at all, stop. Absolutely stop. And releasing, come on over onto all fours. Gets a little bit easier now for a while. So the postures that we do every week, again, cat and cow. And we're going to go here right now, cat and cow. This stretches all the muscles we've been talking about very well. So with your hands underneath your shoulders, or modify it if it's not comfortable, knees are underneath the hips, middle finger points forward. If you can see the wrists, wrinkles in your wrists, they should align with the front of your mat. They shouldn't be off to the side. This is, so you get the proper alignment. On an exhale, round your spine. So now we're stretching the rhomboids, those muscles between the shoulder blades. Drop your chin, drop your tail, and then on an inhale, curl your toes under as you hollow out your lower back. Draw your heart center forward, shoulders away from your ears, stretching through the collarbones. Exhaling, flatten the tops of your feet, round your spine. Drop your chin and your head, your tailbone too. Inhaling, hollow out your lower back, shoulders move away from your ears as you draw your heart center forward, lengthening and opening through the upper body. Exhale, round your spine. Inhale, cow. Last time, flatten the tops of your feet in cat. Curl your toes under for cow. Hollowing out your lower back, draw the shoulders away from your ears. And then coming back into neutral, we're going to take puppy pose. So you're reaching your arms forward, you're staying up on your knees, and you're releasing, stretching. Now, if you can, you're lowering your forehead to the floor, but you can feel this incredible stretch. And again, if this hurts your shoulders or any part of your upper back or arms, you do need to pull yourself out of it and do something else. You always have permission in a yoga class to modify where it's not feeling like it's helping. Inhale, come on up. Okay, done this many times too. Thread the needle for your trapezius muscles, your rhomboids, and your rotator cuff. So inhale, sweep your right arm up, reach up, stretch up. Exhale, thread the needle. Draw it underneath the other arm and release your forehead and perhaps your shoulder onto the floor. So we're going to hold the position as opposed to moving through it. It's stretching pretty much everything that we've been talking about. Obviously, your latissimus dorsi are being stretched here. Breathe into any area that may feel tight. And of course, be aware of any pain issues. And pressing back up. Let's take the other arm, reaching it up. Exhale, thread the needle, releasing your shoulder and the side of your face onto the floor. If you want, you can take the other arm and stretch it out in front. Place it wherever feels good. If you feel like there's too much pressure on your upper body, draw your hips a little bit further back, taking some of the pressure off perhaps your head or your shoulders. But this is an excellent posture for those people playing racket sports to get into and stretch the rotator cuff. And if your arm was stretched out in front, press up and come on onto your bellies for a couple of variations of locust pose. So Place your forehead on the mat. Your legs are together. Flatten the tops of your feet. Your fingertips at this point are, again, level with your shoulders. Your elbows are into your side body. Forearms pressed towards the floor. Notice how it moves your shoulders away from your ears. And you know, because some of us keep our shoulders raised up towards our ears, you may feel a little bit of strain because those muscles just aren't used to being in the place where they would be happier because they're somewhere else. And maybe you know someone in your life whose shoulders are up around their ears most of the time. And then roll an invisible alley with your nose. And on an inhale, we are coming up into what we would call baby cobra, baby bhujangasana. So you're not using your hands, but you are using the muscles in the back. Again, your latissimus dorsi, but also we're opening up the front of the body. So we're actively using these muscles that sometimes are being shrunken because of we're in a rounded, hunched over position. One more breath in. Exhale, lengthen lower. Bring your arms towards your side and just turn your head to the right for a moment, or left, doesn't matter. We'll be doing the other side afterwards. And breathe. And of course you are breathing a little harder because back bends activate and mobilize the blood flow through the pumping of the heart to support all of the muscles required to do what we're doing. Bring your head back to the center. Your arms are beside your body. Your palms are facing up. You're rolling an invisible alley with your nose. We are going to come into locust pose. So on an inhale, lift your head, neck, shoulders. You can keep your feet on the floor if you like, because we're really focusing on the upper body. But if you want to, you can lift your legs off the floor and come into your full locust. Your choice. But the idea here is to lift up as much as you can. Lifting arms, shoulders, head. One more breath in. Exhale, release. Please turn your head to the other side. Let your shoulders melt. Big toes touch. Heels splay out. Bring your head back to the center. Now it gets fun. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing, but we are going to bring our arms to the front. If it's available to you. If it's not, keep your arms towards the back. So we'll start all the same. Roll the invisible alley with your nose. Your arms are by your side. At this point, your palms are facing still up. Tops of your feet are flat. On an inhale, you're pressing your hips and pelvis into the floor. As I said, you can lift your legs off the floor if you like, but lift your arms up and then rotate so palms are facing down and bring your arms forward like Superman. So arms are off the floor as much as you can. You can even bring the arms to the front, back to quarter front, front, V as in Victor, back to the front, V as in Victor, one more to the front, and then bring them to the back and relax. So that is a major workout for all of your shoulder and back muscles, as if I needed to mention that. Draw your hands forward, press them under your shoulders. Come on up onto your knees, and let's take our modified child's pose. If you need elevation for your forehead, then use your block or your cushion, or you can fold your arms and create a pillow. So your knees are as wide as your mat, toes pointing towards the back, top of your feet are flat. Release your torso between your thighs. As I said, add height if you wish, or let your forehead rest on the floor. Breathing into your side and back muscles, so definitely your lats are activated here. So when we really need help with the shoulders and besides physiotherapy, of course, massages are great, a bath in Epsom salts. I know some people think taking a bath is bathing in your own dirt, so take a shower first if that's a problem. But the Epsom salts bath is terrific for tight muscles, shoulders. Inhale, come on up. And then come on to your knees. So if you have a knee pad, you may want to use it now, or you can double your mat over if you need the extra cushioning for your knees. Take the time to take care. Ustrasana, camel pose. Now, if you curl your toes under and you intend to bring your arms back, it'll be closer. You don't have to bring your arms back. You can always just keep your hands on your waist and just draw your shoulders back. For those of us wishing to practice the camel pose, your hips should stay over your knees. You inhale, right arm up, over, around, and take hold of your heel. Now, if this is feeling not too bad and okay, bring your other arm up and take hold of the heel. If you have your hands on your hips, that's fine, or on your heels, or if you're really flexible in your lower back, you flatten your feet and then push your hips forward. Clearly, major opener for shoulders and chest. And if your hands aren't on your hips, bring them to your hips. And then exhale, roll forward, and let's come into whatever version of child's pose you prefer. Your knees can be wide apart, or they can be together in proper child's pose. And then arms can be by your side, or they can be forward to create the pillow. Again, your choice. And draw the torso up, curl your toes under, roll back onto the soles of your feet. Just let your upper body hang for a second in Uttanasana. And then with your knees bent, let your head hang, slowly roll up one vertebra at a time, letting your head be the last thing to come up. All right, wide leg folding forward with arms behind the body. We're going to interlock the fingers, and you're going to press your thumbs into your backside just to really get those shoulders back. So arms are as straight as possible. If you're able to straighten your arms, straighten them. If you bend your arms, you can see my shoulders don't get involved. If I straighten my arms, they engage. So you might want to turn sideways on your mat for this particular posture. You'll have a little more distance. So straighten your arms as much as you can. Straighten at your elbows if you're able. Notice how this opens up the front of your body. And then on an inhale, bend your knees, looking up. Exhale, forward fold. Raise your arms up and over whatever amount you can. Let your heads hang. Release your arms and just let them hang loose. Maybe wobble them around a little bit, wiggle them around. And then pressing your soles into your feet, into the floor, the soles of your feet into the floor. Knees are bent, slowly roll up, one vertebra at a time. With your head being the last thing, let's interlock the fingers the opposite way. So you don't have to think about it. Try to straighten your elbows. Once again, straighten your elbows if you can, Junie. Elbows are straight. You're pushing your knuckles towards the floor. Maybe release your thumbs and just poke them into your backside. And then keeping the knees bent, lifting the heart, looking up. Exhale, lead with your hearts. Knees stay bent, reaching the arms up and over. And then release your arms and let your shoulders kind of wiggle. Walk your feet in towards one another. Keeping your chin tucked into your chest, slowly roll up one vertebra at a time. Let your head be the last thing to come up. So we'll just drop the right ear to the right shoulder. Bring the right hand up and just do a little pulling. So that is your teres minor muscle in your neck. And I often think muscles get tense and tight in the neck, not just for physical reasons, but for mental, emotional reasons. Anything close to the mind, the brain, where our thoughts are, percolating, and release the hand and the head. And let's go to the other side, ear towards shoulder, and take that same hand on the side of the shoulder and the ear, and just gently pull and stretch the teres minus. That kind of stress can just kind of seep down into the neck area. And it could be the way we hold our bodies when we're thinking, fearful, angry, sad, thoughts. Sad, of course, would be more to do with the heart, where we want to protect ourselves, close off. So hunching over, of course, is a way of protecting the heart. And release, let the head come back up and give a little shake out. All right, let's take the right arm up, over, in towards between your shoulder blades. So now you can feel your rhomboids. Bring the other arm on top and pull down. Now try to keep your head upright while you're doing this. And then release that top arm. Again, be very mindful. Reach around. We haven't done this in a long time. This is an exercise that really responds well, like a lot of exercises, if we do them on a regular basis. When we just do it once in a while, we lose a little bit of that mobility. And of course, one side is usually more flexible than the other. And release. And give the arms a good shake out. And shoulders. Okay. Other arm up. Reach in between the shoulder blades. Reach the elbow. So you're actually pulling on the elbow. So you can feel you're stretching your tricep. But you're pushing that hand and arm down, so you're pushing on it. So you're mobilizing, obviously, the shoulder joint, and then take that top arm behind your back and perhaps connect or not. Wow, Helen, you're getting blasted with the sun back there. Did you bring your, look at it, you're like Cousin It with your hair all over your face. What was that, the Munsters? And release. Give it a good shake out. Oh boy. Okay, take a sip of water if you need. We'll do a couple of standing postures to join the dots of what we've been doing. Now, I mean, your shoulders should feel a lot of energy in them right now, right? You can feel lots of good blood flow, circulation. Coming up to the fronts of your mats. Step your right leg back, one leg length. Front foot 90 degrees forward, heel through arch of back foot. Bend your front knee, but keep the weight in the anchor, which is your back leg. Inhale, sweep the arms up to shoulder height. Exhale, now lower your shoulders, lengthen your neck, lift up in your sternum. Stretch your arms. On an inhale, straighten your front leg for Trikonasana. Reach forward until you can't reach any further, and then exhale, just let your front arm organically fall inside of your front leg, and let's reach up with the top arm. So your front leg is straight, Marie-Hélène. Yep, straighten your front knee. Let your lower arm just rest inside of your front leg. And then if you're able, press that top arm towards the back. Just a little bit, not a lot, just a little bit. Look down, bend your knee, come back into warrior two. And then lower your back arm down your back leg into exalted, peaceful warriors, but reaching up, stretching up, maybe even looking up. And inhale. Now let's turn sideways on our mats. Inhaling in place. Exhale, let's bring left hand over to right foot. Stretching and twisting, looking up. Inhale, come on up. Exhale, reach the opposite arm to the opposite foot. Stretching out those back muscles. And back to the center. Lower your arms, pivot on your feet now. So pivot on your back foot first. That'll be your left foot. Bringing it 60 degrees forward, you're going to turn around and face the other direction now. Check out what the other people are doing. They were watching you. Now you can watch them. So the heel of your front foot creates a straight line through the arch of your back foot. Get this alignment right. It really helps with everything. Bend your front knee. Look that you can see your big toe inside of your front knee, and then inhale, sweep the arms up. Lower your shoulders. You might even want to look behind you and see what your back arm is doing if it's level with your front arm. Nice. Keep the weight in the back foot, in the outside of your back foot. That is your anchor. Inhale, straighten your front knee, and then reach forward over your front toe. Keep your legs straight. Keep them straight. When you can't reach any further, organically let your front arm fall inside of your front leg and stretch your top arm up. So both palms should be facing in the direction of your nose. Great. Front leg is straight. So imagine now that your shoulder blades are both pressing up against the wall. If you were up against a wall, both of your shoulder blades, especially your top one, is stacked directly above the bottom. Inhale, come back into warrior two. Exhale into exalted warriors. Your back arm goes down your back leg and your top arm reaches up, stretching up, looking up. Inhale, come back into your five-pointed star. Turn your feet out. Arms are shoulder height. Exhale, fold from your hips. Lengthen your spine, but flatten your back. Fingertips are tented below your face. On an inhale, sweep the left arm up, reaching up and stretching up and maybe looking up. Exhale, float that arm down. Inhale, sweep the arm up. Exhale, float that arm down. Lunging over to your left side. Bringing your hips as close to your heel as possible. Inhaling up and over to the other side. Up and over into the center. Walk your feet in towards one another. Have a sip of water. Grab your eye cover. Anything else you need for comfort. And take your final posture, Shavasana, flat out and relaxing. Please feel good about your efforts. Eyes are closed. When you're ready, separate the biting surfaces of the teeth. Relax the jaw. Palms are facing up in the open and receiving position. And let your bodies be soft and heavy. Now, often we think about our bodies just in terms of physicality. And we forget that our mental states and our emotional states will also affect our physical bodies. It's called body-mind. Shoulders reflect our feelings and thoughts about what we're doing and how we're doing it. Sometimes we can feel overburdened with a little too much responsibility. Shoulders can also reflect suppressed fear, guilt, frustration, anger, obviously some pretty negative emotions that are normal. All to say that the more we are aware of our mental and emotional states, the more we can master our own health and healing capacity. My yoga teacher often said every negative thought has a health-reducing effect. That's a heavy statement to make, but I think there's a lot of truth. So it's not that we're not going to have negative feelings and thoughts and fears and frustrations and resentments. We are. But to be aware that we're having them. And then making some choices about how we're going to navigate, or just how we're going to think about something. Because there's always many angles to everything that's going on. We have a point of view, but there's probably 365 other ones. And sometimes it's just as simple as taking a big breath in and exhaling whatever that thought or feeling that isn't serving you. Let it go. Just breathe it out. Just checking in with your shoulders right now. Are you holding them or are you letting them go? Let's inhale the life force right into our shoulders. Inhaling, creating space. Exhale, releasing anything that's negative, burdensome, tiring. Inhaling into our upper chest, expanding, opening, and releasing any nagging, repetitive, negative thoughts or ideas. Inhaling love into our hearts and letting go of any kind of stress or tension. Inhale, stretch your arms over behind your heads, reach and stretch, point feet far, flex and point, and drop your arms down by your sides. Inhale, stretch your arms skybound, reach and stretch, point feet far, flex and point, and drop your arms back down. Take your time to roll over onto your sides, using your bottom arm as a pillow, bending your knees to protect your lower back. And when you feel ready, press yourself back up into a seated position. If you wish, you can join me in chanting Om just once. And remember, Om can release a tremendous amount of stress from our bodies just by chanting once, or when you're driving, whatever you're doing. Inhaling in place. We are the Om Choir. Namaste. Salutations,